good people, good to see you once again. Leo tunazungumzia 3 businesses ambazo unapatanga watu wengi huwa wanaziignore, but they usually have made a lot of millionaires in our country. Almost every millionaire in our country unapata in one way or the other ukimuuliza na kuambia hey, nishajihusisha na that biashara. So let's get to see which are those businesses. And by the way, guess what? One of them our president has actually engaged in. I know you've already guessed the business, and get what? I'll give more insight on that specific business and how you can be able to grow yourself. But as usual, before we do that, hapo hivyo chini on your right, hapo juu kuna button kameandikwa subscribe on your right. Guess what? Just hit that button. Takes 1 second, just hit it. Then hapo hivyo chini on your left kuna kakitu kanakaa kama na mkono na this, just hit it. And I know you're asking yourself, okay fine, what's the importance of me hitting that? Guess what? That means that whenever I upload a new video, utakuwa unajulishwa by the YouTube like, hey, you know what? Good Joseph has uploaded a new video, so you will never ever miss any of my videos once I upload them. Alright, so let's get into this business. Alright, business number 1. Of course, you must have guessed this business already, and this is about chick farming or the poultry farming, be it either it's layers or broilers, the ones for the meat and such kind of a thing. So I do not know exactly what the spirit behind this business, but you find most of the people, and actually if you just go to any typical town in our country and grab any one rich person and ask them, what business have you ever started when you're growing in terms of business, or maybe you're operating? They are likely to tell you that in one of these 3 businesses, I'm gonna say they are likely to tell you that, and the one that I'm dealing with, it's about chick. Then they tell you, hey, yeah, nishaifuga kuku, nishaifanya hivi, nishaifanya the other. I do not know the spirit behind this, but I can tell you for sure, this is a business that a lot of people tend to ignore, but inaweza kufanyia kitu ya maana sana. So perhaps if you have a small land at your disposal, maybe nyumbani ushago kitu kama, you can grab yourself some few chicks and you start from there. You can put za mayai ama uweke za nyama, and you can go somewhere and maisha kanisonga mbele. Alright, so anyway, let's go to the next business, and this business is quite not really popular, but again people tend to associate it with uchafu na vitu kama hizo, and it's about makaa. For example, let me ask a question. Do you know somebody by the name Jenga Karume, the former minister of this country? So you find that guy was actually engaged in this charcoal burning kind of a business, but of course if you can do it in a regulated manner, due to deforestation and such kind of a thing, because you're actually facing climatic changes. But this business inakwanga very unique, it's very humble and very simple to start. For example, with a couple of thousand, like 5,000, you are good to go. You just need a store or maybe an open place mahali utakuwa unatokea either in the morning and close at the evening, or you can do at the evening or either at the morning. So you find in it doesn't need a lot of money. You just have to have like a couple of thousand. You go ahead, grab several bags of makaa, and then you get started. Because for example, in our country we are known for nyama choma, and that has to happen through use of the charcoal. The conventional way of how we get our charcoal, it is through kuchoma miti and then kupata makaa. But I think it's gonna transist one day to a point whereby we are able to mine our own coal. Though it is not a climatic, what we call it is not really friendly to our environment, but if you can do it in a regulated way, then it's a wise and good business. Na kuanzisha hii biashara, by the way, unaweza itarau cause maybe ni chafu or something of sort, but I can assure you, rest assured, this is a good business and you can start it and can give you something out of it in terms of money. All right, so the other one is all about maize selling. We find like there are people wenye huwa wananunuanga mahindi in wholesalers from the farmers, and then they resell them back to the millers, ama watu ambao wanauza cereals, ama watu ambao wako na visiagi na kusiaga unga na kitu kama hiyo. One thing that you're supposed to know that in our country, that mahindi or unga is our staple food. It's most of the food that in any typical home in our country haiwezi enda more than 4 days kama haijakula ugali. So that means it's really something that it's a thing that if you can get yourself into in terms of business, then you're sure there is already a ready market. For example, right now there is a very hot debate inaendelea about the GMO product, the GMO maize and such kind of a thing. It tells you a lot about what we consume in our country, because maize or unga is basically what we consume, or rather we consume mostly. So if you can get yourself in this business, and by the way, this business can marry other businesses. It's basically a cereal business. Unaweza husisha mahindi, maharagwe, minji and whatever, the dolichos beans or the black beans commonly known as njahe. So you can actually get yourself to somewhere. These are businesses unapata, mostly or almost of our millionaires that we have in our country, they have ever engaged in this business in one way or the other, because they know one thing: this is a staple food, is what we consume regularly. So if you can get yourself into this business, then of course you have ready market. For example, can you imagine right now if you show up in a in a milling company and you tell them, hey, you know what guys, I have couple of bags of maize and I want to sell to you. hardly will they tell you that we don't need it, because they really need it. And right now as we speak, with the price of bag of maize of 90 kgs is almost to 6,000. I think it's 5,500 or something or so. It's close to that amount of money. So what does that tell you? It tells you that, sorry about that, I'm just having a cough, okay? So it tells you that that kind of a business is really lucrative and can actually do you very, very good. So let me just recap what I've just said. And by the way, if you umefikisha this video up to this point, I just want to say thank you very much. Let me just recap what I've just said. I've said 3 businesses ambapo unapatanga, a lot of people tend to ignore them, but they have very high returns, and almost every millionaire that we have in our country, or basically rich people that we have in our country, wamewahi jihusisha or wanajihusisha na those businesses, alright? So ya kwanza nikasema it's about poultry farming, chick farming. You don't have to do this in a large scale if you do not have that capacity. You can actually do it in a small scale. Maybe hapo hivyo nyumbani, if you have a small land at your disposal, you can start a small chick farming hapo hivyo, like with 10 chicks, 12, 13, 50, 100, depending with your capacity in terms of ability to to buy them, all right? And the other thing, and by the way, our president actually has never engaged themselves in this kind of a business, and I still believe he still does this business, all right? The other thing is about what we call it's about maize and such kind of a thing, because I have explained this one in a very detailed way, and as nikasema hivi, in our country unapata we mostly consume unga, and that means mahindi has to be there, because those two things are intertwined, and that means whenever you get yourself into this business, then rest assured you have a ready market. And I gave you a challenge. Can you imagine this, showing up yourself in any milling company, and then you tell them that you have maize that you want to sell? They are ready to buy the maize, because of course they have to sustain their production, right? And the other one is the thing that people tend to kind of ignore it and overlook it, but plays a very vital role, and that is charcoal selling or makaa. This is a business that has been there for ages and ages, and people have been using this as an opportunity to elevate themselves from the poverty levels to a level whereby they can say they are now heading towards what I call the financial freedom. So it's a good business, provided it has to be regulated, because after all, we cannot affect all our forestry. We have to do it in a regulated way, and I think we can have a substitute of that. But I can assure you, as we speak as of now, if I go by the charcoal, then I can assure you a lot of people have engaged in that business. And I gave a very clear example of somebody by the Jenga Karume. That guy was known or is still known to be one of the wealthiest people in our country, and has ever engaged in that business of charcoal selling, all right? You know why? Because you find that most of the things that we do in our country, for example, cooking, the things to do with nyama choma and such kind of a thing, they largely use charcoals for that activities. All right. So, and guess what, guys? Those are just but 3 of the businesses that I have captured in my booklet. I have a booklet of 30 business ideas. I have a booklet of business plans. I have booklets on shares, circles, treasury bills, treasury bonds, money market fund. I have a variety of businesses, or rather booklets. I also have booklets about money management skills and such kind of a thing. If you would like to get a copy of any of those books that I've just named, I will leave my number in the description of this video. If you just click on that more description there, you will get my number, and then you can have to text me on WhatsApp so that I send you a copy of it. And a copy of any of those businesses, or rather those booklets that I've just said, it's only $220. I also write business plans. If you'd like me to prepare you a very nice customized business plan, this is a place to be. And by the way, for those who do not know me, they have clicked this channel for the first time, I'm Joseph, talk about money, investment, and anything related to your cash. I'm literally this guy who shows up and tell you, you know what, you don't consume everything. You have to put a little bit of it aside, invest it for this purpose of income, all right? Or passive income, to be specific. If you love that kind of a content and you've not subscribed as well, up to this point, take that 1 second, click that subscription button on your right, click that like on the left, and guess what? Anytime I upload a new video, you'll never miss a piece, so that you can be notified by the YouTube. And if it's possible, turn that notification bell so you'll be notified, all right? Comment down below, tell me what you think, tell me your experience, and whether what I've just said is true, because I also believe you have something that you can share. Just like an iron sharpens another iron, so do we learn from each other, and I subscribe to that belief. As of now, what can I say apart from goodbye and thank you? See you in the next one.